Have you ever tested microphones? Have you ever tested microphones? Have you ever tested microphones? Yeah. Oh, no, you haven't? Okay. Oh, hey, you little cuties. How are you doing today? My name's Scully Drew, and I'm here to tell you about a movie I just saw called A Free Guy. Was it good? Was it bad? I don't know. Let me tell you. So, Free Guy is a movie that stars Ryan Reynolds. Let me scooch up to this mic like I know what I'm doing here. And he pretty much is playing an NPC character in a open world video game that doesn't know he's an NPC character in an open world video game. And these two developers created this AI that they wanted to program and become successful off of. But unfortunately, a giant name corporation bought the code from them and decided to be the one who profits the most off of it. And let me just tell you right off the bat. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off of this. Let's get to the bad real quick. So, the script in this movie is pretty bad. It's pretty horrendous. Kind of the most cringeworthy thing I've heard in a while. It was almost like the writer didn't understand exactly how people who are video game enthusiasts speak to one another. They really just kind of grabbed all these kind of buzzwords that they think they've heard before, like trolls and noobs and all that kind of crap. And they pretended as if that is still slang that's relevant today. When it's really not, it never really was. It was just kind of like funny for a minute deal. But it's almost as if the script writer, the screenplay writer, was trying to cater to those who knew nothing about the video game audience that it was catering to. And then it was also trying to cater towards those who really appreciate video games. And frankly, it just came off as crap. Just no other way to put it, just crap. The whole script itself was pretty bad. Even Ryan Reynolds' character, Guy, was spending most of the time trying to understand this verbiage as if it was new language to him. And it's almost as if they were saying like Guy is like somebody's grandma or grandpa who's like, I never heard the word troll before. I don't know what that means. Real literal trolls? Go on. I'm listening. It also leads to my second gripe about the movie. The chemistry between these characters that they developed were not great. Best friends didn't feel like best friends. People who are attracted or in love with one another didn't feel like they actually were attracted or in love with one another. And it all just kind of came across as like everyone trying too hard to make certain chemistries work between characters. Nothing against the actors. Again, it kind of falls back on this script in a sense. But then it also leads to the fact that, like, what do you do with it? Like, at what point do the actors just say, I guess I'll try to act as if we're the closest buddies on the planet, or I guess we'll just act as if we're supposed to actually be intimately attracted to each other when we're not? Kind of like my real life. The ending. And it felt as if they didn't really know what to do with this. They wanted to make Free Guy somewhat, I guess, I don't know if they were trying to go with a comedy, because if they were going with a comedy, really nothing made me laugh. I got a few chuckles out of Ryan Reynolds, but that's just what he does. He's just that kind of guy. But other than that, the lines just were terrible, and I shouldn't use the word terrible. That just seems harsh. But as far as comic timing goes, there was just zero of it in this movie. Taika Waititi was in it as the antagonist, and he was, I don't know what character he was trying, like this old like programmer villain that just wants to use nothing but slang. It didn't fit any kind of character role. And again, it was another one of those things where it's like, these are talented people, and it hurts me. It hurts me to see them putting out the kind of performance they're doing. It was, goes back to that script, that terrible script, guys. You know, video game movies, they never really are supposed to be amazing pieces of art. They haven't been. I honestly, off the top of my head, I know there was one recently. I feel like everyone is like, this is what video game movies should be. And I'm like, I can't remember that. You just kind of turn your brain off to these movies and just have a good time. I guess Mortal Kombat from 1990 whatever. And no, it was just Free Guy. It just didn't end on a great. That's what I lost track what I was saying. This ending was something. It just kind of ended. It was really pulling for laughs. It was pulling for suspense. It was pulling for emotions. I didn't feel any of them. Yeesh. Ugh, I wanted to like this one. Let's just get to the good. You know what? Let's always end this on a nice note. First and foremost, Ryan Reynolds is still Ryan Reynolds. Cheers to that. That man is a national treasure. I don't know why I use that accent. No, but Ryan Reynolds is charismatic as always. He does his Ryan Reynolds thing with his cute little reactions to things, and his timing is just always spot on. His like subtleties too. It's just, he's always been an actor, like many people probably agree, is just one of those actors that is always fun to watch. He's just always just something on screen, just having a good time. I can tell he was taking this role and just throwing his Ryan Reynolds seasoning all over it. That sounded gross. I apologize. Another thing about this movie is it is unique. All right, the story is unique. It's the idea that an NPC becomes sentient almost and understands that he is not necessarily part of a made-up world, a constructed world, a programmed world. He thinks he is alive, and he wants more to it than just being a guy who gets up, feeds his goldfish, and works at the bank every day. And I love that. I love the idea that the NPCs in these games are more than just missions that we play in our MMOs or open world games, that they become more important than just characters that are walking across the screen. I like that idea, and the premise of that is really cool. And for the most part, like, they had fun with it. I'll say that. It looked like they had a lot of fun with this movie, making it. Like, there was nothing really, I guess, offensive about it, outside of a couple of weird moments. Channing Tatum makes an appearance in this movie. Not to spoil too much, but the character, the player that controls him, is a very weird, stereotypical gamer kind of like thing. And at one point, I'm just like, what are they doing? Like, they're soiling the great name of us gamers. All right, we're people with feelings, and we're cool. The whole movie itself was a good time if you allow yourself to have a good time. And for me, I know I just said all that stuff about just how awful it is, but I had a good time. It's not a movie I really care to watch ever again. The jokes didn't land. The streamer cameos that were chucked in were just so bad. If they had done that just once, that's one thing, but it was like a good portion of the last 2/3 of the movie where I was just like, I don't want to see Ninja anymore. I don't want to see Jack Septic Tank or whatever his name is anymore. And I definitely don't want to see Pokemon anymore. Like, these guys are they're all cool and great and successful, but it was just kind of like, I'm not a big fan of film or television that boosts egos up, you know? And good for them for getting in this movie and having a fun time. But it really did at one point, because they were in it a lot. It felt like that it was just more about a movie for them than anybody else. And it was very distracting, very jarring. And I was like trying to remember if I was caring about Guy, Ryan Reynolds' Guy character, or if I'm here to like go, oh, maybe I should go on Twitch after this and go look up Septiceyes or something. I mean, it is just one of those things I just couldn't handle after a little bit, but it was fine, right? To each their own. Cheers. Churros to them. Churros to them. Churros. If I were to grade this movie, I would unfortunately have to give it on the low average side, a C-. is what I'm going to go with on this guy. And I know I want to be more positive about films going forward. And for that, I'm going to say that this movie will be fun for anybody who is in the, I guess, gaming scene, who is like the younger audiences who really like Ninja and Jacksepticeye and even Pokemon and all those kind of characters. I get it. It's kind of fun. Life is too short to be angry about things. I should just focus on enjoying them. And for that, there are things I definitely enjoyed about the movie, although it did not make me laugh. And I think it was supposed to be a comedy. I'm not sure, though. On that note, I'm going to leave you with the best, worst line from the film. Bye, BBs. Don't touch that sock. That's my special sock. God. Like me. Subscribe to me. Shh. Get notified by me, baby.